Well, thank you so much for coming on. This is pretty sweet. Okay.
Yeah.
So do you kind of want to talk about how you got into talking about, and we just literally talked about this, I'm sorry, but how did you kind of get into?
No, it's fine. We can redo it. We can just do it more formally.
Yeah.
So you're not, so it's pretty sweet because it's like, I would have definitely assumed that you're a journalist, but you're a computer science major, but you just are super into sports. So how did you become so knowledgeable? Have you just always kind of been into the NFL and NBA?
Well,
because
I mean, yeah, I'm what you might call a fanatic. Like,
Yeah.
I've been a fanatic since like I was little.
Mhm.
I started watching football, basketball when I was like 4 or 5 years old, and
Mhm.
it's been like my number one passion.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
for my dad, I used to be a party trick because I used to have like everybody's stats
Oh, wow.
memorized when I was like 6, 7 years old, and I used to be able to spout them out on cue, like Peyton Manning's touchdowns, Tom Brady's passing yards, this person's yards per an attempt. I was like an encyclopedia
that's
with
wild.
just stats. I just remember random facts like that. But then more and more, like I just grew in like my enjoyment of sports, and honestly, just like teaching myself like football concepts and all stuff like that, and just watching more and more sports, just because like it's not what I do, but it's kind of like what I'm passionate about doing as a hobby.
Yeah.
And I was able to meet Grant, and that's where things kind of took off, where I actually started talking about it in a public platform. Like if I didn't meet Grant, I don't think I would have ever taken the initiative to do it.
Yeah.
So,
That's fun.
would you ever consider going into something like that, or is computer science like that's what you want to do, and you just want to do this as a hobby on the side? Because I mean, like I feel
It's
like
a
you've
hard
carved
question
out
because like
a pretty sweet niche.
yeah, it's
you
a
know?
hard question because I mean, like obviously I'm really passionate about sports. I just think that it's a really difficult field to get into. It's a really difficult field to be involved in. I just think that I'm very comfortable with my life and how it is. I enjoy doing this as a passion, but I really like studying computer science. I hope to get a job in the field. So I think I'm pretty comfortable from that.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I'm kind of in the same dilemma right now too, because like I'm doing mechanical engineering and I love sports, you know, and I think doing the statistics for sports would be amazing, but you know, that's kind of more, it's really hard to get into, and it's like more of a passion thing than like actual career that could be viable. So yeah.
Yeah.
Same thing.
And I don't know. I just want to be involved with sports any means possible. But I mean, like, it definitely helps because whenever I listen to you and Grant talk, you guys aren't just kind of talking about sports. You know the ins and outs of it. You know schemes. You know everything. So, like, did you ever play? Did that ever help you? Like, did you ever play football or basketball, and did that help you at all?
No, I played soccer my whole
There
life.
you go.
I was actually a soccer player.
Yeah, no, soccer is pretty
So-
fun. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, so I played soccer my whole life, and honestly, I wanted to play basketball my whole life. My parents, no way were they were letting me play football, but I wanted to play basketball. My parents made me swim, so I was a soccer and a swimmer, soccer
that's
player and a
awesome.
swimmer for like the first. I think I want to say till I was 14, and then I quit swimming and kept playing soccer.
Oh.
I think with basketball, the thing is there's a lot of translatable things between soccer and basketball, just in terms of body positioning, especially defending, like staying in front of your man in soccer, the way you position yourself and the way you move your feet and how you want to kind of angle and force a guy one way and all of those things, when you want to stab in, all of those things are similar. And then with football, I've just watched football my whole life. I've read a lot of football books. I've seen I used to read every single reporter's article when I was like 12, 13 after each training camp practice.
Dang.
I used to be able to name all like 90 players on the Niners
Oh, wow.
roster when I was
Jeez,
little
dude.
too. Like
That's awesome.
it's an obsession of mine. And then I've just been kind of trying to grow my knowledge with that obsession. I feel like it's really accessible. There's so many things online to learn concepts, to learn basic things like scheme, positioning, all of that. And I feel like, I don't know very much right now. I'm just looking to learn and learn and learn.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I used to think I was a 49ers fan, and then I see like Jamar Taylor come on the field. I'm like, who is that guy? And then you know everybody. That's wild. Like,
Exactly.
yeah.
It's pretty insane.
That's nuts.
Yeah, like the Warriors right now. I'm pretty proud of them.
But
Freaking smacking the Jazz. It's pretty
But yeah.
sweet. But yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. First of all, what I want to because this is a 49er podcast, but I feel like it's pretty important to talk about Drew Brees. Drew Brees retiring. What are your thoughts on him retiring? Do you think he still had some juice in the tank? Because I thought he low-key kind of did, but I don't know.
No, I didn't think he had juice in the tank. Like, I think that one of the biggest misconceptions in the NFL is actually the reason the New Orleans Saints didn't win a Super Bowl with this stacked roster in the last 3 years was Drew Brees.
Yeah.
He just wasn't pushing the ball down the field. Really good short thrower, really smart, still knew where to go with the ball, but he was just physically limited. And he was not playing really well in those big games. I feel like it kind of got lost, right? Because the Rams game, there was a terrible call. Drew Brees did not play well. The Minnesota Miracle game, Drew Brees had a terrible first half. 2020 versus the Vikings, Drew Brees was terrible. And then Drew Brees played terrible versus the Bucs. So it kind of got lost because there were other details that people missed. But Drew Brees consistently didn't play good football for the New Orleans Saints. And so I think that he kind of sealing that team. I think that it was time for him to retire. I mean, I was surprised he even came back this year. Like, I thought it was weird, right? Because people said he was going to be out for two to 3 weeks, but then his list of injuries was like 9 broken ribs, a punctured lung, and like things that like sounded like a guy who had gotten into a car crash. But he had an all-time great career. He's one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, has some of the greatest numbers of all time, maybe the most accurate quarterback I've ever seen, all-time great player, but I think it was his time.
Yeah, I think the biggest indicator for me that it was his last year was that when I think it was in the playoffs against the Bucs where Jameis Winston came into the game to throw that deep pass, that trick play that the Chicago had done the week before. And that just like shows that like Drew Brees, he can't make those throws anymore. So they needed somebody else to come in. I think his time was over at that point. So
So throwing the bag at Taysom, do you think that's the right move?
I don't know if they threw the bag at Taysom. Like, I would like to see the entire details of the contract, but Schefter said that they basically can get out of his contract every single year if I saw initially. And it was basically a contract that was structured in a way to create initial cap room this year. So I don't know if they're 100% all the way with Taysom. I mean, Taysom played pretty good last year. It wasn't bad football. I think Taysom can be a viable starter maybe with Sean Payton, the way they use him possibly, but we'll have to see.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So I feel like because we haven't done a 49ers podcast in a while, and so since we have you on, we're just going to hit you with some questions. So I was watching, it was pretty sweet that Grant Cohn had Jim Mora on. Jim Mora, great coach. Do you think Josh Rosen actually is the guy? And also, do you think that because they were trying to be low key about it, but he is sort of an arrogant kind of guy. He's super smart and intelligent, and he kind of wants you to know that. So, do you think that Kyle Shanahan's his kind of intelligence and just know all about the game? Do you think that'll cancel out Josh Rosen's kind of attitude, and he'll just kind of fit well into the system?
Well, I have no clue. Like, Grant's interview with Jim Mora was telling how Jim Mora felt about Josh Rosen, but unfortunately, I can't comment on it because I don't know Josh Rosen. I don't know anybody that's interacted with Josh Rosen. Do I think he's the guy? Absolutely not. I loved Josh Rosen coming out of UCLA. I love the way he threw the ball. He's got great balance, great release, great time. He had a good sense of timing. He had good, decent feet in the pocket. He had a beautiful motion. He threw with touch. He threw with accuracy. He could push the ball down the field, but his career, he hasn't been very good. He's not very mobile. He's not very good when outside of the script of the offense. And so what I will say about Josh Rosen is that if anywhere he's going to succeed, it's going to be this place. But because I think this is the only offense that really fits his skill set in today's NFL. And I think that if he's going to succeed, it's going to be here. But I don't know if you can say he's going to succeed. I don't even know if you can put any eggs into that basket.
Yeah, I don't think he's, that great of a quarterback. I mean, sure, he's kind of got the short end of the stick on a few situations with like Arizona, then Miami. But I think the biggest like telling thing of that is that he lost out the backup position to Blaine Gabbert in Tampa Bay. Like that's kind of like Blaine Gabbert's not that good, and like losing to him and for the backup position, it's kind of telling that he either doesn't have a good work ethic or he just isn't good at all. So yeah, I
don't know what it is because Gabbert's been with Bruce Arians for a while now. Bruce Arians and Byron Leftwich, so maybe there's a connection there. But I mean, you said it right. He's been given the short end of the stick. He's also played pretty badly when he's played. Outside of I haven't seen one game outside of his first career start against Seattle, where the game that Earl Thomas broke his leg and flicked off Pete Carroll.
Yeah, that was funny.
I haven't seen him play like good football. Outside of that, he played outstanding in that game, and since then it's just been kind of downhill.
Yeah.
So In terms of Jimmy, how short of a leash do you think he'll have? Because I don't know. Do you honestly think he'll get traded? Because I know you guys have done tons of segments on this, but I just don't know.
We've done tons of segments on it. Honestly, the more and more I think about it, like I think they're gonna trade him. I think they're gonna trade him, and they keep not making moves to trade him. So, all I can say is that for whatever reason, they're not going to trade him. I don't know what his market would be. I don't know why you would want to trade for a guy who's been injured as much as he has been and take on a $25 million cap hit. I mean, I think that there is a likely scenario that Jimmy is their quarterback. I mean, I guess maybe New England is still involved in trying to get him, but they also got Cam Newton back. And I still am a believer in Cam Newton. I think too many people evaluate Cam Newton on a couple of lowlights they see on Twitter. Like, oh, Cam Newton sucks now. Well, no, Cam Newton was always kind of a streaky short thrower. He never was really great at it. Yeah. And guess what? Cam Newton also had 12 rushing touchdowns last year, and he had a total of 20 touchdowns. And I think he only played 14 games. So that's about a rushing touchdown a game. He had terrible weapons. Brand new system, no offseason, coming off a major injury. I mean, like these, and he had COVID. Like these are excuses where if any other quarterback had those exact situations, like can you imagine Niners fans if Jimmy Garoppolo had to go? People are still giving him excuses for his ACL 2 years ago. So I'm still a believer in Cam Newton. I don't know anything about what the Patriots think or anything, but yeah, I think that I don't think there's really going to be a market to trade for him. I don't see the market. I don't see who would want Jimmy at this price to be their starter for sure. And it's not anything against Jimmy. He's still a good player, but it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think that like with the trade for Jimmy Garoppolo, I think if New England like offered up either a second round pick or even Stephon Gilmore, that I think the Niners should have grabbed that up like immediately because, you know, then they could address like whole-handedly like the quarterback position in the draft. Like they could have like without a doubt picked one of those up because they would have had Stephon Gilmore, who's like a Pro Bowl corner. I don't know if he got it this year. I can't remember, but he's very good.
Old, though, guy.
I mean, he is old, but I mean, they're kind of in this win now mode. Really, like they have like Fred Warner's contract is coming up. They have to like extend him. And that's a big thing, and so they're going to lose some people. So if they could have got Stephon and then maybe drafted a quarterback, I don't think they could get Justin Fields, but like maybe Trey Lance or like, Mac Jones or somebody they could, like have that and been locked in for this next year.
Sheridan's a big Kellen Mond guy. Where would we get Kellen Mond in the second with a couple, because we have 2 second round picks, right? Would he be in that category, or would we kind of have to sell out? And no, we wouldn't have to use our 12th pick on him. No way.
So Grant's a big Kellen Mond guy too. I mean, I wouldn't call myself a big Kellen Mond guy, but I don't think he's bad. I think he's pretty good actually. And I don't know what his value is actually, but if we would get him if the 49ers got Kellen Mond at pick 43, I wouldn't be mad about it at all. He actually kind of reminds me of if Alex Smith and Colin Kaepernick had a baby. Like his body type and play style reminds me of stronger armed Alex Smith and his mechanics and kind of the way he throws the ball and his lower body mechanics and the way he holds the ball in the pocket reminds me of Colin Kaepernick. So it's kind of weird, but I don't think he's bad.
Yeah, I think picking him up in like the second or third round would be a great idea because, you'd have that pressure on Jimmy Garoppolo, but you wouldn't be really saying like, this is your replacement. Like, we're done with you. Cause then that'd like hopefully give him the motivation to get better or like at least try to stay healthy or do something different. But because Kellen and I are kind of in the whole mode that the Niners shouldn't draft a corner in the first. I mean, shouldn't draft a quarterback in the first round. We I know you guys kind of like that idea, but we would kind of think that the corner and like the offensive line is kind of our biggest, need. I mean, there's debate for every single, option for sure, but we think like Patrick Surtain or J.C. Horn would be great for our team. But
so in terms of quarterback, who do you think we should take with the 12th pick? Who's your favorite guy in the draft?
Obviously Trevor Lawrence is gone. I think I really like Zach Wilson, but I think it's safe to say Zach Wilson's gone. The third guy I really like would be Justin Fields. If Justin Fields is there at 12, I'd be ecstatic. I wouldn't be mad about Mac Jones at 12. I like Mac Jones a lot, but I would be happier if they got Mac Jones at maybe like 18 and traded him. That's just the way I see it. I don't really want Trey Lance. I think there's just too much unknown to bet on with Trey Lance, the lack of starts, the lack of throws. I mean, like, I feel like you're just betting. You haven't seen enough. And then I just, it's that one's just a difficult one for me to bet on. And then ideally, Kellen Mond at 43 is a decent option. So, I mean, there are options. If Justin Fields is there, I would love to see the Niners.
I think it definitely comes down to like what the Falcons who they choose, because like I personally think they're going to stick with Matt Ryan because like he's good, but who knows what they're going to do. And then I also think it also comes down to the Panthers, because like if Falcons pass, the Panthers could get Justin Fields, he could be the replacement for the future, and that would leave Trey Lance. And I think Trey Lance is definitely a project because you have to like mold him. You don't know really like how good he will be. So
the thing with the Falcons is that apparently, I mean, people are saying this, like actual league insiders, they're saying that the Falcons are going to take Trey Lance. They're smitten with Trey Lance. They're going to keep Matt Ryan and take Trey Lance. So,
that'd be a surprise. That'd be wild. Cool. Wow. Yeah, you always think like Justin Fields would be that third guy or second guy to get picked. But yeah, wow, Trey Lance. Huh? That's interesting. Yeah.
Dang. Okay. Here's another question. If the Niners chose not to get a DB or quarterback with that 12th pick, who's your favorite guy that you think who's your favorite pick at that spot that's not a quarterback or a DB?
Not a quarterback or a DB?
Yeah.
I mean, I'd just go based on player.
Yeah.
Player and value at that point, I think Kyle Pitts would be obviously insane. Like Kyle Pitts is super special. There's really nothing you can say wrong with Kyle Pitts. He's fantastic. And then if I would say just of the receivers, I like Waddle a lot. He's got he's the closest thing I've ever seen to Tyreek Hill. Like in terms of movement, and it's not just straight line speed, in terms of agility, suddenness, explosion, side to side movement, ability to move with the ball in your hands, the ability to put pressure on people with the ball in your hands. Like I think Waddle's the closest to Tyreek Hill. So I would go Pitts, obviously one, but Waddle would be my second.
Yeah.
I like Kyle Pitts a lot. Like if him and George Kittle paired up, that'd be insane. Like,
because he doesn't just have to play tight end either. He can play wide out.
Yeah, I know. He's like kind of, like thin enough to be like a wide receiver and fast enough to do that. Like I looked at him. He's not like George Kittle. George Kittle's kind of bulkier. Like he's like jacked, and like, Kyle Pitts is, more of like a wide receiver, but he's strong and he's fast. I think, they could do a lot of crazy stuff with him for sure.
Yeah. George Kittle, when he came out of college though, wasn't the most jacked guy. So
for sure. Yeah.
But on weight too like that. But Kyle Pitts in this offense would be insane. Like he is spectacular.
Yeah, no, for sure.
What do you think about Jalen Hurd? You think he's a bust, or is he going to come back and help the Niners?
I mean, bust is such a hard term to use, especially when somebody hasn't
even played.
Yeah, like how do you call somebody a bust? Like that's like saying like I'm terrible at my job because I had a situation that didn't allow me to do my job. Well, you don't know if I'm bad at it or not. So I think bust is a harsh term to use. I don't think that's fair, but I definitely think he's a giant question mark. Like I don't think the Niners. Like I like Jalen Hurd. I like his talent and his versatility. But at the same time, I don't think he's someone the Niners can look at and say, well, we have Debo, Ayuk, Travis Benjamin, and Jalen Hurd coming back, so we should be good, because Jalen Hurd, like at this point, just has to be a ginormous question mark because he's had two pretty serious injuries back to back.
Yeah. What do you think of the possibility of Emmanuel Sanders coming back to the Niners? Because I've seen on like Instagram and Twitter and stuff that like, people are picking up steam on that idea.
I would like it if it was at the right price. So if you get Emmanuel Sanders for pretty damn cheap, like 1 year, $2 million, 1 year, $3 million, then it's awesome. Because Emmanuel Sanders is phenomenal. He's a pro's pro. Yeah. He's mastered every single nuance of the receiver position.
Yeah.
He's always at the right spot. He's good within the offense. He's tough. He's a good leader. But I mean, I think Emmanuel Sanders will have a pretty large market.
Yeah, I know. He seemed like Jimmy Garoppolo's like favorite target last year, almost like on the Saints game. He seemed like get a lot of the big passes and all that.
Yeah.
And I don't know. He seemed to fit in well last year with the Niners. But I don't know. With Brandon Ayuk being there now, like I think they're kind of moving on from like like the older guys and going with like the young crew that they have already. So yeah.
What about Quan, Vish? Could they re-sign Quan Alexander or no?
I wouldn't recommend it. I
Yeah.
mean, we're talking
Well-
about a guy whose game is built on suddenness, speed, change of direction, and he's coming
Yeah.
off an Achilles. To me, that's way too risky.
Right.
I'm one of those people who didn't love Quan Alexander's bang for the buck value in the sense that I thought he was a good player. I just didn't like what he was getting like paid for what his job was. And it's like I'm a guy who thinks Dre Greenlaw has been massively overrated by Niners fans. Like I think he's good. I think he's solid for what they pay him, but I don't think like I've seen people say that Fred Warner, Dre Greenlaw is the next Willis Bowman and stuff like that. That's just that's mind-numbing crazy.
Yeah.
They're not even a top 3 or 4 linebacker tandem. Fred Warner's a superstar. Dre Greenlaw is just a okay player. He's fine. But I can't bet on Quan Alexander coming off an Achilles, especially when his game is built on speed and explosion, and he's at a torn pec, that was big surgery on his bicep, and a torn ACL. This has all been over the last 2 years.
Yeah. No, yeah. I remember like Quan Alexander in the beginning, I thought he was really good. And actually the first Grant Cohn video I watched was the one about Quan Alexander and how he thought like he was just like running around on the field doing like random stuff the whole time. And I was like, oh no, like he doesn't know what he's talking about. And then I watching the game, I like focus on Quan and like he's doing the exact same thing that he said in the video. I'm like, oh my gosh, like Quan isn't even like really that good. I don't think like
he's a really good player. He's really good in coverage. He just freelances a little. That's in the Niners are a team that's looking to play very assignment sound football, and so.
Yeah, and apparently he had like a lot of missed tackles or something. If I remember, he brought up like he missed a lot of tackles. But I mean, yeah, he's a great player, but he does like you said, like jump from the script a lot and do random things. So yeah.
Well, okay, so what do you think of Ahkello Witherspoon, and what DB is going to have to step up most this upcoming season that is already on the roster for the 49ers?
I mean, I like Ahkello Witherspoon's talent. I think that the Niners haven't done a great job nurturing his confidence, which seems to be very flaky, which is hard for an NFL player, especially when you're playing for Kyle Shanahan, who doesn't really baby players, He's really honest. He treats players like adults, and so it's a different situation. But I've always liked Ahkello Witherspoon's talent. I don't think he's going to come back to the Niners, just a gut feeling and guessing. But, I mean, I don't have inside information on it, so maybe he comes back. What I will say with Ahkello is that in terms of the corner that needs to step up, it's got to be Mosley, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we don't know if Verrett's coming back, so we don't know. We know Mosley's going to be one starter at corner, and he might have to be the nickel too, because K'Wan Williams is most likely gone, because the Jets are probably going to offer him a ton of money. I mean, Richard Sherman's been hinting at that on Twitter the whole time.
Yeah.
So because of that, I think Emmanuel Mosley's versatility, his toughness, great tackler. He's a good player. He's physical. And I think that he's the guy that's got to step up. Plus, they just extended him for a pretty decent amount of money. They paid him like a starter. So, yeah.
Yeah. No, I liked Emmanuel Mosley a lot for sure. I thought he was really good. I liked Ahkello Witherspoon at the end of the season. I liked when he like blocked that one pass on DK Metcalf and started like flexing on them. And that was pretty funny. And then, I thought that was great. But yeah, I think Ahkello is going to be gone this next year. He's probably going to get signed somewhere else. And so, I think Emmanuel Mosley definitely needs to step up as like probably, I don't know. Yeah. Depending on Jason Verrett and K'Wan, like he might be like the number one guy now. Like that'd be kind of wild, but yeah, for sure.
Who do you think is going to have a bigger impact this upcoming season, Marcel Harris or Tarvarius Moore?
So I'm not the biggest Tarvarius Moore fan.
Really?
I think I don't know why Tarvarius Moore is hyped the way he is. It's not that he's bad. He's really talented. He's really fast. But he takes really bad angles to the football, and he doesn't play assignment sound. He makes a lot of mistakes. And so I just think that that's why. Like everybody kept asking the question, why does Marcel Harris play instead of Tarvarius Moore? It's because Marcel Harris doesn't make mistakes in terms of his assignment. I think that Marcel Harris – I don't understand actually why Marcel Harris has been so hated by Niners fans.
I love him.
He's a really solid backup safety. Yeah. And Tarvarius Moore is also a solid backup safety. But for whatever reason, Tarvarius Moore is looked at as the next Ed Reed and the savior, and Marcel Harris has looked like a guy that needs to be let go ASAP.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stay safe and say I think Marcel Harris will have the bigger impact of the two.
Yeah, I love Marcel because they kind of put him he just flies around the field. I feel like he reminds me of Deshaun Goldson, not just because of the dreads and stuff, just because Deshaun was
he
like
throws his body around. He's fearless, and okay, he does miss tackles, but so does Dre Greenlaw, but nobody harps on it. So does Fred Warner, nobody harps on it. Tarvarius Moore takes a lot of bad angles to the ball, and nobody harps on it. Okay, he gets beaten in coverage. Well, yeah, sometimes the offensive coordinator just calls a great play, and Marcel Harris is in a bad spot, and he gets beaten in coverage. But so do a lot of other players on the 49ers, and nobody talks about it. I think Marcel Harris is solid. I don't think he's ever going to be a starter, but I think he's a very solid backup and a hell of a special teamer. And because he plays cleaner, I like him more than Tarvarius Moore.
Yeah, no, he's good. He's come up in big plays, like 2 years ago, 2019 against, Seattle. He almost had an interception against Russell Wilson in that like crazy game. That was nuts. But yeah, and he's done pretty good against Seattle this year. He hit DK Metcalf pretty hard, made him lose a catch. So yeah, I think he can definitely be good. Yeah, I don't know if he's going to definitely be a starter, but he definitely comes in good times to keep things, under control. So,
yeah. Okay. How are the Niners going to address their offensive line issues? Because I don't know, they're probably not going to re-sign Trent, right?
I think they're going to re-sign Trent Williams. I say there's no way they can. They basically put all their eggs into that basket. I think that's the one deal that they will get done.
Yeah. So so K1's going to leave most likely.
You think?
God, that stinks so bad, man. And then Verrett, what's the most suitable landing spot for Jason Verrett, you think?
Raiders. Gus Bradley.
Big time. I can see him as a Raider.
Gus Bradley. And they need secondary. And I do want to put this out for the K'Wan Williams people that think him leaving is just the worst thing in the world. Last season, both K'Wan Williams and Jamar Taylor started 8 games each. They both had 22 tackles. Williams had 5 tackles for a loss. Taylor had 2. They both had 2 quarterback hits. Williams had 2 sacks. Taylor was 1. But according to my charting, I think Williams got blitzed more than Taylor. And then Williams allowed a passer rating of 81.9. Taylor allowed a passer rating of 69.1. Williams allowed 75% catch percentage, completion percentage. Taylor allowed 76.5 completion percentage. Taylor had 3 picks. Williams had none. So Taylor was a guy that people were thinking was going to be out of the NFL, and then the Niners signed him, and he came in and he played through camp, and he was able to replace K'Wan Williams. K'Wan Williams is a really good player. I know fans love him. He has a great story. He's a really solid tackler, good blitzer, but he gets put in a lot of fortuitous positions to be able to make plays. I think that his role and what they ask him to do is something that can be replaced by another really solid tackling nickel player, and Jamar Taylor had a hell of a season.
Yeah.
I think that what's underrated is that when people call him the best nickel in football and stuff, like Bryce Callahan on the Broncos is playing man in the slot. He's taking the slot receiver one-on-one. Marlon Humphrey in Baltimore, he has to play in man in the slot. They don't ask K'Wan Williams to really play in man, and he's kind of the liability when they do play in man, and that's why Jimmy Ward does a lot of the man coverage from the slot. So yeah, when K'Wan blitzes or he has this great tackle, everybody's like, look at K'Wan, such a stud, and why does Ward make no plays? Well, Ward is the one locking up actually in the slot, allowing K'Wan to make plays, and I feel like that gets lost, and I think that's something fans don't see, and I just wanted to keep putting that out there because I think that these are the smaller nuances in football that don't get realized, and for whatever reason, that's why people hate or 49ers fans aren't embracing a Jimmy Ward or a Jaquiski Tartt because they don't make plays. But really what they're doing is they're allowing a Dre Greenlaw to have a very simple assignment to be able to make a play, or a K'Wan Williams to have a opportunity to blitz 5-10 times a game to make a play. So that I did want to say that.
Yeah. No, yeah, I agree. I agree on that one. I think Jamar Taylor was I think he was my favorite surprise from this year, like how he came in and was able to fill that role of, K'Wan Williams. I think Jamar Taylor can definitely be a great asset to us next year. But,
Dude, you just blew my mind with all those statistics, man. That's freaking insane. What's it like being a walking sports app, dude? That's freaking crazy. My God. Okay.
I mean, it's all available on Pro Football.
No, I know, but the fact that you just remember all of it's just mind-boggling.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson. And also, whenever you have to go, it's fine. Just
sure, absolutely.
Okay, so Russell Wilson, how realistic is it that he becomes a Bear? Because every time I hear news on that,
I'm a Chicago. I live in Chicago.
Yeah,
I'm what you might call a Chicago Bear hater. I've been a Bear hater my entire life. I talk recklessly about the Chicago Bears to so many different people. And I mean, when a lot of I feel like so many people that are connected with the league keep tweeting out that Russell Wilson to the Bears is real. So I'm worried about it. I'm hoping it's not true because damn, my phone would blow up from a bunch of people because I've always said the Chicago Bears are where quarterbacks come to die. There can never be a good quarterback for the Chicago Bears. I mean, if you think I talk sensibly about the 49ers, you would think I'm an absolute idiot the way I talk about the Chicago Bears because I just run my mouth when it comes to talking about them because I'm just a hater. But so I mean, in terms of the realism, I mean, the facts, they seem to be right in front of you. It seems to be a very realistic possibility. In terms of how I feel about it, I think I would rather have him in Seattle.
Well, yeah, but we don't want him in Seattle, bro.
I think the Seahawks would kind of almost be like done like as like a competitor in Seattle if he's not there because time and time again he always like somehow finds a way to come back and like win games like no matter what the score is like against the Niners is always like the fourth quarter comes around it's like oh no like this is gonna be the same old situation but
no absolutely he would if he goes the Seahawks are done but I don't know it's like I don't want him on the Seahawks. I don't want him on the Bears. I mean, if the Raiders could step up. I like Derek Carr a lot. I like Derek Carr more than a lot of people, but if the Raiders step up, that would be huge for me.
Yeah, that'd be good, yeah.
What would the trade package look like? Would that be Allen Robinson? Like, who would they give up?
Well, I think it would have to be built around Khalil Mack and picks, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Khalil Mack.
Well, yeah, because they already have a pretty good offensive wide receiver group there. So I think, definitely Khalil Mack because their defense was like atrocious last year for a good part of the season. But yeah.
Yeah. I feel like Khalil Mack kind of took he is really good though, but I don't know.
The thing with Mack is that he makes close to $24-25 million a year. So I don't know how they would be able to fit both him and Russell Wilson between their cap while keeping an Allen Robinson who deserves to be paid this offseason. So I think that the deal would have to be Khalil Mack and picks. Plus Khalil Mack is still a franchise level defensive player. So like he alone is still worth 2 first-round picks.
Yeah, no, him and Bobby Wagner and KJ Wright be a pretty scary, crew right there for sure. And Blitz boy Jamal Adams running in there and doing his thing.
Niners line would have a issue.
Their defense would be insane if they bring back KJ Wright. They add Khalil Mack to go with Jerron Reed, Poona Ford, Jamal Adams, Quandre Diggs. My God, they would have a defense.
Okay,
that'd be wild.
I think it would. We have to talk about this really quick. What's your honest assessment of Mike McGlinchey? Because that whole entire visual right there, if Khalil Mack was playing for the Seahawks, my mind automatically went there. So, do you think he's put on some more weight? I mean he's I don't know what to think. He has good games. He's got bad games. I don't know. Sheridan's not the biggest fan. I know a lot of people.
I think a lot of people have been really, really hard on Mike McGlinchey. When they drafted, I think the biggest reason is because he was picked 9th overall. And when you pick 9th overall and you pick an offensive tackle, everybody hopes he's Orlando Pace, he's Trent Williams, he's Jonathan Ogden, he's Jedrick Wills from last year, he's Tristan Wirfs. But the reality is that most players don't turn out to be that. I think McGlinchey is fine. Like, he struggles in pass protection, but we knew this. He's a hell of a run blocker within this scheme. I think that a lot of his bad plays really, really look worse because they come in the worst possible times.
Yeah.
They're highlight level worthy because he gets put on his back by a Chauncey Gardner-Johnson who's 100 pounds and 8 inches shorter than him. So all of those things look really bad. I think the bottom line is the weight thing clearly was an issue. Kyle Shanahan brought it up. McGlinchey himself brought it up. So the weight thing maybe was a problem. He did look too lean. I think they should continue to keep him. I still think he's fine. My big thing maybe honestly with him, and it's something I think that's kind of lost with offensive line plays, that it's so nuanced. I think there's a lot of things that we don't get, information that we don't get privy.
Yeah.
We're not privy to in terms of, okay, they showed this front. they're going to slide protection this way.
Yeah.
So like McGlinchey might be sliding right and it might be the wrong call, and McGlinchey might be overset up inside and get beat around the edge. Well, we didn't know that they slid their protection right. We just see McGlinchey get beat around the edge. So they did, and the Niners, the center makes all the line calls, and they had Ronnis Grasu start, they had Ben Garland start, and then they had Daniel Brunskill start. So I think there is some level of excuses to be provided for the 49ers because, one, they saw a lot of different fronts this year, and two, they didn't have consistent center play in terms of having a guy who was there in terms of continuity to see these different looks and how they were going to react to these looks. So I think there's a lot more there than just saying Mike McGlinchey is terrible.
Right.
I think Mike McGlinchey is fine. Like, I'm not going to sit here and tell you he's a top 10 tackle in the NFL, but I'm also not going to tell you that he's terrible because he's a really good run blocker. And I feel like, okay, run blocking, you might not value it as much, but that's what the 49ers value in their offensive linemen, smaller, quicker run blocking offensive linemen. He does that at a very high level.
Right.
I think definitely he's, his run blocking, is good. Like, I think he has like a really high grade. He's like one of the second best one in the NFL or something. Can't remember. But yeah, I mean, it's like his passing. I remember the Washington football game. They had like Kendrick Bourne caught a pass to like convert like a third down. And then like he gets a holding call. And like, it was a massive play because they got down like almost to like field goal position. And then he got a holding call and that just like ended their hopes there. But yeah.
His bad plays just come at the worst possible times, right?
True.
Like the Philly game, the last drive with Beathard, it was he was just getting walked all over by I think it was Brandon Graham that was kicking his butt. I don't remember, but like he played solid in the Philly game until Brandon Graham whipped him on the last drive. So I think it might be a case of, I think too often we attribute like guys' ability to play at the end of games and when things get tough. We only talk about it with the quarterback. Maybe McGlinchey is just a guy who, when he tightens up a little bit, he overthinks a little bit when the situation gets tough. He really feels that pressure because his bad plays come at a really terrible moment for the team.
What do you think we're going to do to address the center situation? Draft a guy? Because
Alex Mack is right there.
I know. Alex Mack would be a great guy to get.
Yeah.
That one's like that should fit your hand like a glove. That move to me is just a no-brainer. And I feel like the offensive line, you're going to be bargain shopping for veteran offensive linemen this offseason. I mean, Kevin Zeitler was the first cut. Andrew Norwell is going to be cut. There's going to be enough guys, in my opinion, available where the Niners should be able to get a couple solid veterans depending on whichever position they deem a position of need. So the Niners should be in pretty decent shape, especially if they get Alex Mack. I think the comparison to Alex Mack is Hall of Fame level center. Think John Sullivan when the Rams signed him in 2018. That first year they signed Whitworth and Sullivan, and it changed their offensive line for a couple of years. I think that's what Alex Mack would be for the 49ers.
I think the Niners are going to be able to re-sign some more people than people think because like they have $31 million in cap now, and I think the Juszczyk thing that might come through this recently because John Lynch tweeted out like that whole thing about like you guys thirsty.
Or you think he actually tweeted it out?
I don't know, maybe. Yeah.
Wait, what was all that stuff yesterday? Because
I don't know.
I think they were just hacked. I mean, we've seen.
Maybe.
I mean, Nick Mullins was hacked. River Craycraft was hacked.
Maybe, actually. Maybe, I don't know. That's nuts, but maybe. Yeah, I was kind of hoping it was like actually him, but yeah, if it's hacked, then that's rough. But yeah, I think
you hope, right? But it just seems like horrible business to.
Yeah, I know who would actually like he doesn't really make jokes, a lot in like the Twitter, and then he just does that. So yeah, I don't know, but I still think the Niners are going to be able to re-sign more people than they think because I think if I remember right, like people were saying they're only going to have like 25 million in cap space or whatever, and then now they have like 31. So I think they're going to be able to get like Trent Williams
Their cap space isn't as bad as people want to think it is.
Yeah.
They're in a decent spot in terms of cap. The only thing that makes people scared is what's Trent Williams' cap hit going to be. But you know what? I think there is a scenario where you could sign Trent Williams for a $25 million per year contract and have his cap hit not be heavy this year. The Cowboys just did it with Dak Prescott. The 49ers can do something similarly with Trent Williams. I think they're capable of bringing back Trent Williams, Kyle Juszczyk, Jaquaski Tart, signing Alex Mack and getting one more guy. And I think that would be a really solid free agency. But I think Trent Williams, Kyle Juszczyk, signing Alex Mack, stuff like that. Like, I think the Niners are in play more than what people want to think here. I think Parag Marathe does a hell of a job managing the cap, and they've been able to create room and maneuver and kind of manipulate things where I think they're in a better shape in terms of their leverage and their flexibility than more teams.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Just a few more questions. Running back situation. Do you think we address that in the draft, or do we sign somebody?
I mean, I think they should draft somebody in the 4th, 5th, 6th round. I think that they do need to sign somebody too, like maybe an undrafted free agent. I think the one thing with the running backs is that, Tevin Coleman's not a great runner, but I think they missed him in pass protection this year. The running backs had a pretty bad year in pass protection, Kyle Juszczyk included, and I think Tevin Coleman's elite at that. I mean, obviously, you don't want to bring back Tevin Coleman, not a very good runner.
Yeah, I know.
You need to bring someone to replace him. I know Niners fans just adore Raheem Mostert because of the one game. I think Raheem Mostert's a really, really good player, but I think people need to pump the brakes with Raheem Mostert. We're talking about a guy that has had 200-yard rushing games in his entire career, including one which was the NFC Championship game. He's a really good player. He's really fast. I think I feel like there's questions that Niners fans ask about every single player's body, but Raheem Mostert's a guy that has had a very limited amount of carries in his career and has had multiple injuries. I don't think you can rely on Raheem Mostert to be your bell cow running back one. I think they need a third guy. It's got to be a three-headed monster to me with Mostert, Wilson, and somebody.
Yeah,
100%.
No, yeah, I think it was it was very evident in like the first Rams game where Raheem Mostert comes back and he does great in the first half, but then he gets hurt, and then it's like you need somebody else like Jeff Wilson or some guy in the draft or free agency that can like come in there and like help him out.
He played awesome actually in the Miami game, and then that first Rams game, and then he got hurt again. And it's just I just think that the way his body is, I mean, I think it's difficult for them to just ask that of him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Is Trey Sermon? Where would Trey Sermon land? Because I loved him.
You like Trey Sermon?
Yeah.
I haven't watched a lot of Trey Sermon. I'm not sure if he's a great fit with the Niners. I mean, I don't know.
I don't know. But I really liked watching him play. It was the semifinal game. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I watched Trey Sermon on TV when they played Clemson, when they played Alabama, but I haven't really gotten into watching him.
You're right.
Give me a little bit of LeGarrette Blount, that kind of vibes, like super big guy, powerful, runs behind his pads really well. I don't know. Maybe he would be a really cool fit with the Niners. I got to watch more. I like Michael Carter from UNC. Okay. I think he would be an insane fit, but then he's another smaller built guy, so who knows?
I like Jamar Jefferson, obviously, because I'm an Oregon guy. Jamar Jefferson. Also, what do you think? I think Austin Walter is someone that they're not really talking about. I really liked what I saw from him when he was returning kicks and stuff. What do you think of Austin Walter?
Yeah, I mean, Austin Walter's pretty tough, isn't he?
Yeah, and he's quick.
He was pretty explosive when he returned kicks. I think I think him and Hasty are guys that you got to bring into camp, but can you really rely on them? I mean, the Niners, the reality is that they've been going through their running backs play 4 games at a time. Breida, they had to manage Breida throughout 2018. McKinnon got hurt. And then 2019, Coleman was in and out hurt. Mostert came on later in the season. Breida was kind of the guy at the beginning of the season, then he got hurt. So this season, I mean, Hasty got hurt. Coleman got hurt. Mostert got hurt. Jeff Wilson got hurt. So they've been managing injuries. Besides Jed McKinnon, everybody got hurt. So they've been managing injuries in this backfield for the last 4 years, and I think it's because they have a lot of guys who are really small but run really, really, really hard. So I don't think that they can just look at it as say, okay, well, we have Austin Walter and JaMychal Hasty. We have 4 backs because the reality is that they need 6-7 backs on deck.
No, exactly.
To be able to go through a season.
I miss Breida, and I don't understand why we didn't keep Savon Ahmed. Do you know? Because he's a beast. I don't understand. I don't know. I really liked because they signed him in free agency.
I think it was maybe they had a crowded room at the time, and maybe it was Ahmed versus Hasty.
God,
and they preferred Hasty.
Trash. But
I mean, I guess 2020, you can say 2020 hindsight, maybe you wanted to keep Ahmed instead of McKinnon.
Yeah,
exactly. Okay, final things. JJ Watt, does he really make an impact? Like, crazy impact on the Cardinals' future?
It's not crazy, but he's a hell of a player, and I think he's going to make their defense better. I mean, when they get Chandler Jones back, they still have Budda Baker, who want to talk about a stud. Budda Baker is just an absolute stud, and J.J. Watt's going to be really, really good for them. So I think that I thought people overrated the Cardinals this year. Like, who do they have on their offense besides DeAndre Hopkins? Like, Kyler Murray's weapons and what's around Kyler Murray, I think, is overstated. I think this is the year Arizona kind of takes off if they make the right decisions. Kyler Murray's going to be in his third year. I thought Kyler Murray got hurt a little bit at the end of last year, and that hurt him. And so I don't know if Watt will make the biggest difference, but I think Arizona in general is going to be a force.
Yeah, I think if they make the right free agency decisions with like their wide receiver core, I don't know. I think Larry Fitzgerald is kind of he's more. I don't know. I don't think he's really a factor.
I'll say Larry Fitzgerald has been done for the last 3 years. He's still a Hall of Famer. He's one of the greatest players of all time. But Larry Fitzgerald is he might be slower than Trent Williams. It takes him 10 minutes to get down the field.
He just kind of reminds me of like a charity case. Like he's he's a great guy and he was like great before, but like he kind of needs to go.
Right. And so nobody wants to say anything bad about him. And it's always Larry this, Larry that, Larry that. But it feels like at this point, he's kind of just sticking around for his catches streak to maybe catch Jerry Rice. Yeah,
I know. I think he's hoping, like crossing his fingers that somehow the Cardinals work it out and then like they can, make a playoff run or something. But
maybe. But I don't know what his contribution to the team is at this point for them. They need some explosiveness in their receiving core. They're too Kyler, and their offense is too Kyler DeAndre Hopkins oriented.
Yeah. I think if they get a tight end as well, like somebody, maybe even Kyle Pitts, if he's available at that point for them, like that'd be pretty nice for the Cardinals. But
I say no way Kyle Pitts is there then. But
I know. But if that was, that'd be nice.
For real.
Yeah.
Okay. Last thing, you like Matthew Stafford, right?
I like him a lot. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Is he gonna bring the Rams to a championship? Is that what Sean McVay needed with Matthew Stafford?
It's a lot more than the quarterback, right?
Right.
I don't know what their defense is going to be. I don't know what their linebackers are going to be. I mean, they need to get John Johnson back. Losing Brandon Staley was huge, though I'm a big Raheem Morris fan. Excuse me. I think Matthew Stafford is plenty good enough to win a Super Bowl with. I think Matthew Stafford and Sean McVay should mean that you should be putting some money, maybe a small amount, on Matthew Stafford winning an MVP, because I think I think Van Jefferson's going to come along. I really like Robert Woods. I've always have. Cooper Kupp is solid. Cam Akers look great. I think their line is going to be good. It's just they don't have a lot of flexibility or resources. It's going to be really interesting because they're once again in a sticky situation, just like they were last offseason. Last offseason, they managed to do every single thing right and managed to have the best possible team you can have with Jared Goff as your quarterback. If they once again do every single thing right this offseason with Matthew Stafford, then I think he's capable of bringing them a title.
Yeah, me too. I don't know what to think. I think the whole entire NFC West is very interesting, but the Seahawks, if they lose Russell, that's going to be absolutely massive. I don't know who the biggest threat is, honestly, at this point. It's probably the Cardinals. But
I think the Rams are the best team.
You think so? Yeah.
I remember texting Kellen like right before Matthew Stafford got traded, and I was like, the Niners are going to get Matthew Stafford, and they're going to do good. And then right when I do that, I get the notification that he's like on the Rams, and I'm like, dang it, like they're going to do better now. And it was like,
that was a sad day in my life. I've been pretty convinced. I don't know how much you guys have watched me or anything, but
no, all the time.
Matthew Stafford has been my guy since last June, last July. Like when people were still talking about Aaron Rodgers, I was like, no, Matthew Stafford. So it was disappointing to actually see everything work out and see the Rams get him. But I'm just excited to watch the national perception change on Matthew Stafford. I'll have my popcorn ready and I'll be watching people change their mind. Like, see, Matthew Stafford is a winner. Well, there's more that goes into winning than just having a quarterback. You have to look at who he's playing with, what scheme he's in, all of those things.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I've lost hope with the Deshaun Watson thing. I was low-key high on that, but then thinking about it more and more, I'm just, it's not worth it.
Which like analysts brought that thing up, like trading like Fred Warner and like Nick, like three different people, like
I don't know,
like a couple of first round picks. Like I know Grant Cohn and them, like they like the Nick Bosa getting like traded with a couple of first picks. I'm not a big fan of that, but I mean, I saw one thing where the guy they traded like three superstars from the Niners for Deshaun Watson. It's like,
I'm not into the trading Nick Bosa. I still think Nick Bosa is the best football player on the Niners.
Oh, for sure.
Facts.
Yeah,
100%. But yeah, thank you again so much for coming on.
Yeah,
Probably
this
wasn't,
is great.
I don't know. Thank you so much for coming on though. It was really cool meeting
Thank
you.
you
It's
for
awesome.
having me. This is really cool. It was casual. We had a good time.
No,
Thank
yeah,
you.
it was awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And
Yeah.
you know, maybe sometime you want to come back on. I don't know.
Yeah, for sure. Let's do this again. Definitely.
Okay, cool.
All right,
Yeah.
sweet. Thank you
Well,
so much.
If there's some more news comes up, about the Niners, we'll definitely try to get you back on. But yeah.
Cool.
Yeah,
All right.
100%. Thank you guys.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no
for
problem.
sure.